Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Are You Screening podcast. I am your host, areyouscreening.com's own Mark Eastman, and with me, as always, is co-host extraordinaire Shane Leonard.
Hello.
And I don't know why you're laughing this time around.
Just because
I'm trying to go through this, you start laughing.
I didn't hear.
I didn't hear. To be laughing?
No. I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't hear the dog wrestling, and then suddenly, just as you started, I only heard the dog wrestling, and I went, "Man, that's
the dog's upstairs going crazy."
They're just having fun.
This week, we're doing one battle after another,
right.
Which is cool because it's like the first movie that we've reviewed since we started doing the trailers, and we did the trailer of it.
Yep.
And if you caught us doing our trailer reaction for that one, you will be pleased to know that the movie was almost exactly what I expected.
After
seeing the trailer,
there's a hint.
So so from now on we might just do trailers because
yeah,
we don't need to see
right.
the movie. We're also going to
that'd be all right. I love trailers.
Kind of go back to Honey Don't.
Yeah.
It's what Ethan Coen.
Ethan Coen all by himself.
And now that is available to stream, I think, on Peacock. I'm pretty sure it's like on Peacock.
Yep.
So now you have your chance to catch that. And then we might get to more. And I won't even say what, because maybe we won't do it. And
then the emails come, and they're always coming for you.
I didn't trick anybody into thinking it was coming.
So that's great.
One battle after another. So it's, it's actually one of those movies which, because I was talking to somebody about this movie just the other day, and it turns out, as I was in a real conversation trying to talk about the movie, it's a hard movie to describe, like to go, here's the synopsis. Yeah. Right. Without just saying everything that happens in the movie, because it's like, well, there's, this happens, but that, it's really this.
Yeah.
And, well, that doesn't actually mean anything in the end. Right. So it's kind of more, it's about this.
Do those kind of films, I don't even know what the question is, like sort of positively or negatively propel or repel you? Like if somebody says, you'll love The Shawshank Redemption, it's a great prison story, and it's a prison escape story, and you're like, got it, okay. Right. I know it's going to be bad guards, people getting beat up, rats, things, they're walking the yard, somebody's lifting weights, somebody says something, there's a shower scene, whatever. Right. But if I say, oh, it's got this thing, and they do these things, and Leo says this, and then and you're like, so what's it about? And you're like, no, I'm telling you what it's about, and you're like, I'm hooked. Or you're like, no way, I'm watching that film.
Yeah, there's a very tricky line there.
There is,
and this has always been like a big thing with all of my kids. Because
this is good.
Like when I'm talking to my kids about stuff, and you're my kid, and I'm a movie critic,
right?
So I don't know, the world is different or something,
right?
But but I, frequently have this thing with my kids when they're reading a book or something, and then they're telling, and I'm like, okay, what's it about?
Right.
And then they will start like giving me the synopsis, Yeah. And I'm like, no, that's what happens.
Right. What's it about? Really?
What's it about?
Yeah.
And this movie kind of hits me exactly the same as Highest to Lowest did, right?
Yeah.
Because they are both, in a certain sense, movies that really, really think that they're about something.
Yeah.
And are completely wrong and are about nothing. They try so hard.
There's a lot of effort there
to be about something.
Yeah.
Above and beyond running through what happens. Right. Like they want to be about something.
Right.
And they are about nothing because they try so hard. In this one, everything there's so much stuff that happens in this movie that is basically kind of like cartoonish in the way that it is like going, look, I am saying something by having you watch this.
Right.
And then that's what happens, and you go, no,
Yeah.
you're not about anything.
Right.
I mean, you're about nonsense. You didn't need to make a movie. Just get on a soapbox somewhere and start shouting your platitudes of humanity and what you think about it or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
But what happens in the movie is it's all about Leonardo DiCaprio is in this kind of counterculture
resistance
group.
Yeah.
And they are, at a certain point in time, many, many years ago, right, they were bombing stuff and, whatever, releasing a bunch of immigrants who were held at this place.
Yep.
Which that's how the movie starts out with. They have this scheme to be doing this.
Yep.
He is in this relationship with this woman who is, sort of one of the main big shots. But also it turns out that this is some, really complex group that is, just huge, conspiracy and, at certain points, he's calling in and all this stuff. And it's they've got all these people and, whatever.
Yeah.
And so the movie starts out with they're breaking these people out. And really, everything that happens during that whole thing is so incredibly stupid.
It's very convenient.
That it's, and so it's really weird because, the people in it are kind of like all these doofuses that you would expect to be in something like this.
Right.
Except that allegedly they're all coordinated and have all these plans and, whatever. Except that the people that you see, really, like Leonardo DiCaprio and this woman, are both doofuses and couldn't get anything done ever, right? I mean, they're lucky they're alive, much less coordinating all these whatever. But everything that happens in that whole thing is so nonsensically stupid. And then at the end, it's and then we got away with it. And it's I know you're not going to show us how you got away with it because there's no chance you've gotten anywhere.
Yeah,
right?
I've got a couple ideas.
And this whole thing, there's this part right at the beginning where, the female leader of the group busts in on, what's his
Sean
name?
Penn.
Yeah, Sean Penn is the colonel in charge of whatever. And they go through this whole just donkey sexualized thing that is really just someone got really high and opened up the script and started writing. I mean, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
No one would do that because there's absolutely no reason to do that except that it's this is going to work later for all my big thoughts that I have or whatever. And we have to connect this whole thing later on where they kind of start having an affair and stuff. And it's whatever.
Just in case I don't remember, I just want to drop it in now. And obviously your grade's coming, my grade's coming, but it was just really awful fan fiction of something that I'm not familiar with. It's not even fan fiction people want to write about Hogwarts, so they make up new classmates and you bump into Harry and Hermione, whatever. Knock yourself out. This is, and this is okay too, but this is fan fiction for some sort of predilection or a kink.
Yeah.
You want to have a real dominant role over somebody, and who's more dominant than the military? Well, now I'm going to dominate you. And I'm I think Paul Thomas Anderson is sort of showing something he didn't really want to show me here.
Right.
And it just goes on.
Yeah.
It was really not uncomfortable because I'm a prude. I'm not. And it wasn't. It was uncomfortable because it was just stupid.
Because it's just so dumb.
I'm not even, wasn't intellectual. It wasn't effective. It was stupid. So
yeah, it's completely goofy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so going on with the movie, what happens is we see them for a while as they're blowing stuff up here and there, and the next thing you know, basically Sean Penn kind of like catches the woman as they're doing something, but he's not interested in actually stopping her. He's like, you can go ahead and blow up anything you want, but you're gonna like have sex with me, or something, because he's completely loopy. I mean,
he's on 11 already, like we love to say. He's already crazy.
He's as crazy as you could be. And then basically she gets pregnant, and she does not do well with the motherhood idea. And they like eventually end up kind of like splitting up. And because well, I don't know, it's really weird, but it becomes about look, man, we have a family now, and
we got to stop being anarchists.
And so she goes out, does this other thing. She ends up getting caught. Then Sean Penn shows up to make her the deal that she can rat out a bunch of people, and then she'll be in witness protection. Because how awesome is that for him? Because then he'll just like have her in witness protection like forever, whatever. And then, but then she escapes and goes to Mexico and is just gone. And then boom, it's like 16 years later. Or something. And now the daughter's grown up. DiCaprio and his daughter like escaped forever ago and just have been living
pseudonym
these.
names.
They're in their own witness protection program, sort of. And
that's true.
Then hilarity ensues. I'm not even going to go through all the rest of it, but whatever. Then it's just. Then at a certain point, they're being on the run isn't working for them anymore, and and then all hell breaks loose, and whatever. Anyway, so that's basically what it's about. But like I said, it ends up not being about anything. We've got Sean Penn and like this super clan group that he wants to join.
There's something Christmas society or Christmas club
something
or
about Christmas. They say Christmas instead of saying clan or whatever. But anyway, we've got that side of things. We've got the whole being opposed to the government. We've got Sean Penn as a colonel who just starts doing whatever he wants.
And
it's like, what? He like pretends that there's some drug crime stuff happening so that he can bust some people so that he has an excuse to be there and find her. And he's got all of his own like lackeys who are clearly just doing whatever. I mean, it's
following orders.
It's just so bonkers. But so we've got all these, things we want to make, all these statements about society and race and white supremacists or something. But, Sean Penn is just completely insane. I mean,
he's just waiting for somebody to just go nuts on.
I don't believe one of the worst things about this movie, because, I don't want to say that there's no good movie even in here to find, right?
I would say there is, but not much of one.
But I kind of think that I would be right if I said that. I'm not sure that there's anything that you can mill out of this. But one of the worst things is there are parts where DiCaprio is good, and I'm not like a huge fan. There are parts where he's pretty good, but there are parts where it's like, I just feel like we did one take without even giving him any direction and went, whatever.
You like that?
That's fine.
I loved it. Kind of feel like I could do this. She's like, I think I got it.
Some of it is kind of, iffy. But the main thing for me in this movie is, the story is really kind of stupid and thinks it's brilliant and doesn't get anywhere. But Sean Penn for me is the worst. And not because of Sean Penn. Sean Penn is probably doing great, right? He's probably doing 100% exactly what he's supposed to be doing and doing it really well and everything. But his character is so ridiculous that it's like, you know, there is no such person.
Right.
Even if you brought me that person,
right,
I would say there's
real.
No such person. Like, he's so just ludicrous in like every respect, and then we keep adding stuff on top of him to make him even dumber.
He eventually becomes
clannier, insaner. He
eventually really is a cartoon of any character.
Yeah, he's like somehow we went wrong in like the Who Framed Roger Rabbit sequel, and he got shuffled into this.
I had a thought somewhere near the end when they're doing a lot of like in the background. It's like all these long desert highways, and I'm like, this is a Roadrunner cartoon. And he's Yosemite Sam, and like I'm waiting for an Acme rocket. Like it really was like
keep having to watch that part for so long.
We'll do. Sorry, I wouldn't want to forget this too. I'm having sort of a really forgetful day. So I don't mean to cut you off. When we watched this, and after the third or fifth Sean Penn big scene, and I'm like, wow, they're really making him do this. I thought, because sometimes you'll come in and say, I don't care what you do from now on. I hate you for this, and I'm going to carry that with me. Like, you'll really have a grudge about 10 movies ago. Something died, you know, they did something wrong, and you're like, that stains everything now. That's so bad. Like, that's not leaving you. I thought that was going to happen with Sean Penn here. I really did think you were going to come in and be like, it's really changed how much I like and can only like him going forward.
Yeah, I only like Sean Penn so much in the first place, but I don't think any of this is really like
it's not
Sean
his fault.
Penn.
Right.
Yeah.
This is all like, Paul Thomas Anderson.
It's exactly who the character is supposed to be, and but like I said, they keep just like dumping more and more things.
We don't have
into
enough.
Him.
Do more. Yeah.
It's like he's the most insane, horrible person, and it's, you know, like I say this all the time, but no one's listening, right? If your character's insane, I don't care.
Yeah, right.
It's not interesting to have here's this insane guy. I mean, you know, like amongst society's ills that we're trying to make, you know, some grand statements about, let's do something about insane people, but that's not an interesting story, right? I mean, it's like, I mean, he is just so far gone, and I just can't believe anything about him.
Yeah.
For one thing, you know, this is like the icing on the cake for me, but I cannot believe, and you will never make me believe, no matter who you trot in here.
I'm gonna call
I
Sean
cannot
up.
believe that a guy with that hair cares about his hair. And like, is worried about combing his hair and stuff or whatever. I'm like, you wouldn't have that hair.
Right. If you did have that worry, you wouldn't wear it like
unless
that.
It's just part of, well, I'm insane, so you know, nothing makes sense because I'm insane, and it makes sense to me.
Yeah,
great, fine, but it's such a weird little added thing that he's like.
I wondered where you were going, and now I know what you're talking about.
What?
Yeah,
that stuff. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the, you know, general gist.
Yeah.
I could not give this movie more than 2, and it was lucky to get it, I think.
Yeah.
There was so much bad and weird about this movie, but then there are so many things that are just these little bits that you're like, God, that's awful. And maybe they don't mean that much on their own, but you know, like you brought up the part where we're chasing everyone on the cars, right? Like that whole, I mean, we got like 20 minutes or
it was a long time
of just we're watching people driving cars because somebody sold Anderson on this like new way to have the camera on this you know, I don't even know what it is, but you got the camera on the front of the car. And you know, the thing automatically like
it's got a
goes
gimbal,
up and down,
so it doesn't move anywhere. It just stays level, and you're going up and down.
So
roads.
now we can go up and down these things, and it's like, oh, it feels like I'm on a roller coaster, and we have to watch that happen like 20 times. And these cars are chasing everyone, The bad guy frickin' magically appears when there's absolutely no way he could like know where she is.
10 miles of open road. Where did that guy come from?
The daughter, and I'm not even going to like directly talk about it, but the daughter goes through this whole like escapade with this other guy and gets driven to this other place. Yeah. And for an indeterminate amount of time or whatever. And then it's like, you know, we've got trackers on her. Like, so she finally escapes, gets on the road, boom. There's like the other bad guy is like behind her. And you're like, there's just absolutely, that's just magic.
There's
it's
no way.
So goofy.
Yeah.
But having to, and you know, that whole part, you know, somehow you could make him finding her believable or whatever. The part where she has that little escapade is not inherently bad in itself. It's like, you know, fine, it is what it is. But if we had all this chasing just like maybe 5 minutes long, you'd go, okay, fine, there's chasing, we're in the desert. Right. But you just have to keep watching it like Lawrence of Arabia, like walking over the sand dunes. It's like, I gotta do this for a half hour.
Kicks the sand out of his sandals, puts them back on, walks again, stops.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
And you watch that part of the movie and you know, as awful as it is, you know that Anderson is sitting there going, yes, nailed that part. Right. That's perfect.
Yep.
And it's like, I don't even know. There's parts of this movie where, you know, stuff goes on for a really long time for no reason. Yeah. Where, you know, it reminds me of parts of The Brutalist.
Yeah.
Where you're like going, okay, fine, but why do I have to watch it for 20 minutes? I mean, it's so...
Right.
It's so weirdly in love with itself.
Yeah.
And you know, the movie that might work, right, is a lot more of DiCaprio, which is a weird thing for me to say. But you know, when he is trying to effect this escape with the he's got like this whole like Hispanic network of it's like an underground
supporters
railroad
and sympathizers
and we've got like a whole like block of I don't even know where they've got like tunnels and they've got all this back and forth and he is such a loser doofus who cannot like get out of his own way.
Yeah.
And we're trying to manage him, and we're trying to get stuff to happen.
Yeah,
most of that was like pretty fun.
It's the best part of the movie.
Most of that was interesting to watch and was pretty fun, and it was really cool that you know he managed being this unmanageable person.
Yeah,
like really well. He was really good at that. I'm not so sure about the falling off the tree thing. Was a little goofy, but
I love that scene.
Anyway, and then
I love Benicio's reaction.
And then everything in the movie is so like in love with this idea of weird conspiracy theory, like cultiness.
Yeah,
DiCaprio gets caught. Oh, well, that's okay because we got people everywhere. Yeah. And then so we just like break them out again.
Yeah.
The Klan people have like a underground city practically where you walk. This guy goes down and it's like it's the funniest thing because it's like, you know, this is right out of some goofy bad video game or something because he walks like forever and ever.
It is a video game walk.
Going down this thing. Just so that he can open this door to like this tiny room with the leaders and the backlighting
and the weirdness and
it's like for people who are like, I think all these conspiracies and this movie's like, you don't know the half of it, right?
Come in, sit down. Let me show you something.
Crazy.
How long is this movie? This is really long, right? 2 hours and 41 minutes. Typically, you know, that's fodder for us to say kill an hour. I think there's easily an hour to kill in this movie because, like you said, I don't really have too many disagreements there with anything. Really, there is a story here. I don't know if it's the movie that they're trying to tell, but I think there's a story about I understand there's a story for Anderson contemporarily about immigrants in cages,
right,
about the overreach of the government, how the government is unpredictable and crazy, as the embodiment of, and it feels like Penn is supposed to be the embodiment of all the government that's bad, and it's just if you poured everything.
He's just like white corruption.
Right. If you filled a white patriarchal looking person full of all the bile and vitriol and suspicion, contempt, well, you'd have this character, right? Who's one eyelash away from just twitching with rage all the time.
Right.
I understand that possibly Anderson thinks that this is a contemporary take on a lot of immediate things that are going on in the last handful of years, not even decade. But that doesn't mean it's effective in how it's coming across. It doesn't mean that it's done well. It's a story that feels like it's really only appealing to maybe Anderson and like his group, his freedom fighters of like 15 people, and they're like, oh, like you've nailed how I feel.
Right.
To those people, I say, that's fantastic. I'm all about people enjoying things that I do not, but I think you need to read more and see more films. I think there are stories out there that tell this type of story, not this specific one, but this type of story much better. And they don't even have to be as adrenalized, even though it doesn't work in this film. You have the first thing that comes to mind when I say you have a father who takes his family on the road because they have decided to be activists, and maybe they did or didn't make a mistake. There's this awesome River Phoenix, Judd Hirsch film called Running on Empty. Thing is like 90 minutes long. It's so powerfully strong. It's effective because it's about the personal implications of am I to blame for my father's mistakes? Yes or no? These kind of societal things. But it doesn't even happen during like a tumultuous time in real history. It's just like a mid to late 80s film that just kills the topic. This thing struggles like an ineffective sort of amputee around picking up things.
Right.
That it doesn't have the strength or the dexterity to, if it could lift it, know what to do with it if it had it. I think Leonardo DiCaprio, because we've seen him do so many things, if you watch him with Quentin Tarantino directing him, you see a different version of him. You see the James Cameron version. I think he's talented, but I don't think that rises to every film that he's in. I think he meets the director where they want him. And I think that's kind of hard sometimes, because I've seen him be really, really great, and I've seen him just kind of be okay. Not phone it in, but just like this. He's okay.
Yeah.
He has some really great scenes, but he's not being guided or directed well enough to show that. We're just riding on the coattails that he's Leo. Everybody else that's in this does fine because they're not really asked to do too much. Sean Penn is just a weird... there was a moment where I actually really liked that character, and then they stepped on it very quickly.
Yeah.
He feels like in Dodgeball, like Dwight Goodman, Ben Stiller's character, who's like, you made me bleed my own blood, or when Vince Vaughn shows up and he's like, I see you've caught the scent of another. That's this guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's basically after Leo because he realizes she's the husband.
He's so caricature.
He is.
Of all these different things all mashed together. And it's like, now you're not even sure what you're being a caricature of.
You gave it a 2. I gave it a 2.5 before we even talked about it. It felt like at first I was close to 4, and I went, no, it's not even remotely close to just below average. I have looked back over things. It's clear to me that...
It got worse.
Well, no, it did. Well, it's clear to me that I'm just actually not a Paul Thomas Anderson fan.
Yeah.
I loved Boogie Nights. The year it came out, it made my top 10 list, and I still think that if someone can't watch it because it's about the porn industry and there's a lot of nudity, I actually think that whatever was happening in either his life or mine we overlapped really well in that Venn diagram that year because I was all for it.
Right.
And I've never liked a Paul Thomas Anderson film since. Wow. For almost all the same reasons. There's a couple I haven't seen that are big. Like, I need to see a couple of them. But this sort of feels like Darren Aronofsky. Like, if I go sit down and watch Mother and I don't like it, I'm basically watching the same school of thought here. Like, these guys think they're telling a story about something that isn't really coming through, or I'm just not getting it. I will say this. I think the best part of this film, at 2 hours and 40 minutes, I think the best part of this film is probably the 35 minutes near the late middle when Benicio del Toro is in the film. His character is so just robotically charismatic. Yeah. Like, everything that happens to him, he's like, all right, let's keep going this way. Don't touch that. Pick that up. Yep. Grab those guns. That character is everything I thought was really fun.
He's the only character in this movie, I think, that is actually a character. He's the only character in this movie that we get some semblance of an idea of he does the things he does.
Yeah.
And we can explain it because of who he's supposed to be and what he's supposed to have done. He is this guy who's, he's been doing this for decades. Probably.
Yeah, he's so.
This is all routine.
It's another firefight. Yeah, that's Tuesday.
And he acts exactly like that. He is his character, and the things that he does are like, that is what that character would do.
Yeah.
Everyone else in this movie is lost in being a cartoon or a caricature, and they do whatever they do at any given moment because this is what I want to happen right now. And I think there's like a great example in this movie of, there's like a little microcosm in this movie of just how bad this movie is.
Yeah.
And it's when Sean Penn gets his daughter, and they're like trapped in this like church or whatever.
The psycho nuns.
While he does the
blood test,
to match DNA and find out if he's the father.
Yeah.
Basically, what happens is he takes her in this room, and it's like, now we have to sit here for 20 minutes and like wait for this to happen.
Right.
And it's almost like there's no script to that scene.
Right.
Because I can't think of anything dumb enough to write for this. So just do whatever.
Yeah.
It's everything that happens in that scene is like, no one acts in any way because this is what my character would do or this is who I am. It's all just, this is the dumbass scene I need to happen right now, and so here it is, and we have to wait for this DNA test, and let's have sort of some drama about this happening. It's so goofy.
That's a perfect scene to irritate me, because there are things in that scene
which is what we were looking for.
No, but there's a bunch in that scene that I do all the heavy work for to make that scene interesting.
Right.
I love. So it's almost like someone said, look, the outcome of this COVID test is very important. Well, all we have to do is sit here for 15 minutes. Like, 15 minutes? I'll film that. Fill the time. And you're like, all right, I can do that. I'll pace, I'll scream, I'll yell, we'll ad-lib, you're going to bounce off me. And I see how that goes. That sucks. But when Sean Penn is in her face and he's angry and he's so mad, but he thinks it's possible this is my daughter, and he's literally looking, scanning her face for features that are his. I love that. Like, I actually am like, that is great. And then you step on it by talking about how she liked tying you up or what. Like, I'm like, what? It felt like it wanted to be so like apocryphal. Like, it's just like this, we're going to go out in the desert and there's this secret convent of like the angry nuns and they'll hide you. No one will find you. Fucking Sean Penn just appears like boom, right? But I get how he finds that.
What could have been easier to find?
Right. Like, you tell me there's nothing out here for 50 miles except for the crazy nuns. And you're like, where? I get that. It really is and I know we're going to move on. It really is impossible to say this is a disappointment because I didn't have any elevated expectations, but it's just too bad that there's a lot here that don't make sense to me anyway. I mean, not I understand it, but it just doesn't make sense why you would film it this way. It's sort of too bad to see some wasted performances. Although, if I had to think fondly of anything, it's when they're rushing Leo out of Benicio's like home, and he just keeps yelling, "Thank you, Sensei! Thank you, Sensei!" Like, it feels like it wants to be Lebowski and it wants to be Sicario. And in a weird way, Paul Thomas Anderson probably looked at Sicario and was like, "Well, I can write that," and he gave it his best shot. And that's what we've got here in one battle after another. I don't actually know too many people except people that obviously really love Anderson's work that I could even really suggest this to. It's so long. I don't know if maybe you'd break it up. Maybe you'd have to sit there and watch when it's streaming or when it's on some service like HBO. Maybe you watch an hour of it and you come back to it later. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a really bad movie.
I don't know, and it is like you said. Anderson is weird, and we have to move on. But it's like Boogie Nights. I just feel like there's a lot of. We're getting to a point where there are a lot of directors, and like for the last 5 years, there are a lot of names that we know that they are now getting into that stage of their career where they're like, this movie is good because I made it. And it's,
right.
And it's not...
Megalopolis.
Like when he did Boogie Nights, I mean, he couldn't just like walk in and go, I do whatever I want.
Right.
I mean, there were other people who were reining him in and who had, charge of things. And, and he had to sell them on the script and all, and, whatever. And even, not that long after that, when it was like Punch Drunk Love was the same thing, which I liked and you hated, I think, or at least you didn't like it. I liked that movie a lot.
Yeah.
But that movie was like, serious script.
Yeah.
And it was not, it was not like just somebody who's a director now and can go, my script can be whatever I want it to be, right? I mean,
my buddy, I went to see Punch Drunk Love with my friend Joe, and he's normally as patient. You would think that Joe's always doing a podcast, like he can't walk out on anything. Like he'll watch stuff. The scene where Adam Sandler is walking around and the music is playing and the song is just droning on like "You'll See Me," and it's just on and on and on. And he just looked at me. I guess it was too hot in the theater. His chair was broken, whatever it was, but that was the straw. And he's like, let's get out of here. So we left that movie then. That strangely reminds me of one of the things, honestly, as I'm moving away from this. I don't think I have to add anything else to this except to say one battle after another for 2 hours and 41 minutes, I feel for at least 2 hours and 28 minutes has the worst soundtrack I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a Paul Thomas
really
Anderson.
Weird.
That's a Paul Thomas Anderson thing.
Yeah.
Now you might have liked Punch Drunk. You might have loved Punch Drunk Love, and I don't think I ever. I think I did go back and rewatch it, and I went, it's fine. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's just not good to me. Those musical choices by him have been in a lot of his films. I haven't seen them all, so I'm missing some big holes here. Actually, it's strange. There Will Be Blood is one that I've never seen, and everyone says is like, that's the one.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we'll see. It sounds like I'm playing the piano, and I can't play the piano. It sounds like I'm playing the piano for 95 minutes, especially during scenes that are incredibly, like, sort of trying their hardest. The Benicio scenes. Like, it's just bling, 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 bling. Yeah. And I'm like, God, why can't I stop hearing that?
Yeah, the soundtrack is really weird
awful. Like, it's easily 3 stars off just for the constant awful noise. And there is an argument to be made that I'm going to play notes off key purposefully to raise your agitation and get you. But you know what? If you need to play sad music to tell me that a character is in a somber state, you're not doing a good enough job as a filmmaker. The story, their acting, that should tell me. This weird machination is unnecessary.
Well, especially in this movie, I don't know.
It's awful.
as a completely general thing,
Yeah.
I kind of go both ways in that, because I know some movies and some scenes where it's like there's the sad music and you're like, that works pretty well. And there are others where it's more or less the same thing, but you go, ugh, this is awful, right? I mean,
it's totally subjective.
It's like a whole, thing.
Yeah.
But in this movie, it's really bad, but also like the choices are weird, but it hits so hard.
Yeah, I agree.
It's almost as if like the screen goes black for a minute.
Yeah.
They hammer you with this music so that you're ready for it.
Right.
Like, and then it starts happening.
It's unforgettable.
And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that is where I am, or whatever.
There's a part where
weird in this movie.
There's a part where it actually works and is effective, and then it just doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. And I'm like, come on.
All right, that's enough of that movie. Okay, so
God, those characters all sucked for the most part.
yeah,
too.
don't,
None of them
go
do what
see that.
I
I don't know what's up with
do.
that movie, but it is, like I said, I think it's just
skip that.
You get certain people who are at that point where they can do whatever they want, and no one's gonna call them on anything.
I swear, Aronofsky,
this is what you get.
Aronofsky, like the producers, the executive producers are like, we're going to be gone for 8 days. Just don't burn the thing down. And he's like, we've got to film this in 8 days. Like, I got to do exactly what I want before anybody gets back. That's how this felt.
Anyway,
awful.
So, okay, Honey Don't. So, Ethan Coen movie.
Yep.
And you ought to expect great things.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
If you love the name Coen,
if you love the Coen brothers, you should love just one.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
We'll say that makes sense. But so this movie is about a woman who's a detective.
Yep.
In a way, there is a lot about this movie that is kind of throwback.
Yeah.
But then while trying not to be throwback and being very modernized version of throwing back or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So it's, it's very like almost, you could reshoot this pretty quickly and make it like a total film noir.
Yeah.
Like just from a completely different period in every way.
Yeah.
But now we're in the modernized version of that, and we've got the smallish town female detective.
Yep.
And the cop that we see every once in a while, which is Charlie Day, which is super weird.
Yeah.
And we've got a dead person because they drove off the road, or there's some kind of crash, right?
Yeah.
And this woman's dead. And then, we've got the weird, not televangelist. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know what to call this, because he's not a televangelist.
Right, he's just an evangelist.
He's just an evangelist.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
small town.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Like, you just he's got billboards and
a lifestyle
and a rundown strip mall that he's
and
taken
the church
over
only looks
or
like
whatever.
it has maybe 80 people in it, but he's rolling in big bucks.
I know.
Like, he's got a lot of money from these people.
And we've got like the mystery woman on the Vespa, because you have to have that, and then basically it's the detective being connected in all these various ways to all these things, and then stumbling into whatever problems, just like your normal film noir detective.
A small town detective.
Yeah.
And, knows the cops, knows the evangelical.
And then hilarity ensues. And all manner of twists and turns and
typical
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that alone should be just from me saying that, should be a movie that I would love.
Oh no.
And I couldn't.
And it's got people in it you like.
I couldn't get anywhere.
Aubrey Plaza, Charlie Day. I don't know if you like Chris Evans, but
yeah, Chris Evans is fine. Aubrey Plaza's in it, but it was, I almost wish she wasn't.
Yeah.
Because most of the parts that she's in are just horrible, and she's horrible in them. It's like, I don't know what happened. Because I like her in almost everything.
Yeah.
Because she will take stuff that I don't think is very interesting, and she will kind of make it interesting. And here's like the exact opposite. Like she took something that seemed kind of interesting and made it not interesting at all. I don't know. Anyway, the most I could give this movie was a 4. Because I think that's right about where it is it's just not good enough to be average.
Not good. Yeah, right.
I had
not good enough.
I had
average.
Many negatives going with this movie, but there were some positives too, and there were some scenes that I liked. There were a lot of scenes in this movie that were really trying too hard.
Yeah,
and most of those scenes were kind of like, there's a certain kind of play.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a play guy. I'm not like a theater guy, but I bet if I was, I would know something more to say about this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's like kind of a subgenre of plays where all of the lines are like, people don't really talk like that,
right?
But it's okay.
Right.
But it's like we allow for
we're
that,
gonna
right?
Yeah, right.
There's some kind of, people who are in theater would maybe know something more interesting to say about that or something. Right. But there are a lot of plays that I have seen where, somehow we just all agree to let that slide because people are like saying funny things and we're going back and forth really fast. And
they communicate their song.
Isn't this cool little quippy dialogue we're having where it's like, but nobody talks like that. Like nobody's just like zipping back and forth, like saying these things or whatever. Right. And the dialogue in this movie is like that.
Yeah.
In many scenes, it is trying so hard to be like this
punchy,
weird, like almost Marx Brothers movie kind of a thing. And then there are other scenes where it doesn't really do that. And those scenes I think are great.
Yeah.
Those scenes are really interesting. The main character is really interesting.
Yeah.
The story itself is pretty good, except it really tries too hard also with like Chris Evans is just always having sex and we have to see it all the time.
Right.
And then we have to be constantly doing something with it when, the guy comes in to shoot him and then suddenly the bed's empty and you're like, what? And then he gets... It's like, it's just, there's so much of the movie that's trying so hard.
Yeah.
And it makes me think because it's, Coen. Right?
It is a Coen brother.
It made me think at one point I was watching this movie when all of like kind of you get a certain way in and then all of like the hijinks are all kind of coming together and like swirling around the toilet bowl to where we're all near each other and everything. And the way that it was doing this, trying so hard, I was like, imagine if like Fargo, you made Fargo, but every scene you just tried too damn hard.
Pushed too much.
Right.
Right.
Like, and I'm like, that movie would suck.
Yeah.
Right. And this movie is very much the same. There's some stuff that's fun. It's a fairly decent watch. It kind of, pulls you along. The main characters are mostly, pretty interesting. But I'm like, if this just tried less and was like a 6-part series or something, maybe that would have been far more worth watching. But there was just so much of this that I'm like, come on. They would even deliver cool lines, and you'd go, that is a cool line. I don't care because it's, I don't know.
There are scenes in Fargo. I was thinking of this too, where instead of punchy, snappy, sort of Aaron Sorkin dialogue that's really trying to step half on each other to keep the rat-a-tat rhythm going, there are just long pauses, and sometimes people will be like, well, yeah, and that's it. Like,
right.
And those are characters who are truly breathing.
Right.
I respect what Honey Don't is trying to do. I thought it was like, there's so many dumb metaphors. Go into the kitchen and you find out you left the soda on the counter. You're like, I still want a glass of soda. You pour it. It's flat, but it tastes like it could have been soda.
Right.
That's this movie.
Right.
It's just flat. It feels in a way that I know people have criticized the Coen brothers for this, and I disagree almost entirely, almost all the time. It just feels uninspired.
Yeah.
Like there's just an idea here that Ethan Coen had, and awesome. I don't know why it's none of my business. He's not a conjoined twin. Like he and Joel have been making films for decades now that I love. Some hit better than others, but I pretty much love them all, I think, on some level. This was a bummer because then it made me be that immature critical thinking that I'm like, so you need Joel.
Right.
Like you're bringing something here, but now I think I see where your other side of the creative team steps in and fills it in, and maybe you do the same for them, but
right.
separately, you don't have as much power. It's a fine, easy, breezy video rental idea, and I think the beginning is curious because I think that the characters are sort of interesting, but Chris Evans is playing a caricature of things, and that's fine. He's got 90 minutes to do it, literally 89 minutes to do it. Aubrey Plaza, who I loved, my old ass was in my top 3 of last year. I hit or miss with her sometimes. Here, I was hit for the first 40 minutes because I just thought this is sort of weirdly, it's sort of stupid to say contempo because it feels like it's set in the early 80s.
Right.
But contempo noir, like they were really not like coming down descending staircases with dark shadows, but instead they're walking to police locker rooms and there's just fun things in between. But when it gets moving forward, all the motivations looking backward are so strange, and her character is absolutely a mistake.
And in the end doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't.
So
right. When it's not long enough to confuse me, like one battle after another. It's short enough for me to go like, wait, what the hell? What? You didn't do that 25 minutes ago. There are some fun parts. I think they're all front-loaded. I think they're all early, not front-loaded. 20 to 40 minutes in, I think, is the best time of the film. And I never saw a trailer for it except for when I was getting ready to fire it up. They have like a strange trailer. I don't actually think you should watch that. I think it gave away a bunch of stuff that isn't necessarily to find everything out here. Right. There's like a monster of the week crime she's got to solve, and it just feels very small town noir, which I'm on the hook for. Right. That sounds awesome. And then you tell me that it's a Coen brothers film, not the Coens, but it's just one of them. And I'm like, sign me up. I'll go check it out. Right. I came to it with all the good intentions. I don't have anything, like I'm not looking to take a swipe at him. It just doesn't deliver. It just swings and misses a bunch. Yeah. But damn it, like you said, there are sprinkled over an hour, every once in a while. I'm like, well, that's a fun 4-minute scene. Right. Just do that.
Yeah, and in general, like, there are like these scenes that are really good, but in general, it's almost. It's not like almost. It's not like it's awful.
No, it isn't. It
like the general idea is cool. The characters, the main character anyway, is cool. I almost wish it was a show.
Me too.
Right? Or something we could do something different with, and we could get more of this character. But in the end, in this, like I said, so much of it is trying so hard.
Yeah.
And it's like desperate for, when the dialogue is just zipping things out so fast that you like miss them because you're still laughing at the last one. Yep. It's like it's like the show was written going, I just want somebody to say that.
Yeah.
And then I don't care what else works or doesn't work about the movie.
Yeah.
And it just really kind of like you said, it falls flat. It doesn't take all those parts and really coalesce into something interesting.
Yeah.
And we kind of got to go because we're far on time here. But, the one thing I do want to say about this movie, and, maybe I'm wrong because I could be wrong, but I feel like, what's the safest way to put this? Let's put it this way. If lesbians were upset at this movie, I would not be surprised. Because there is a certain sense in which this movie is going, like, this is what lesbians are like. And you're like,
if you say so.
I'm not going to say that's what they're like. Right? It's like there's this really weird, especially there's this one scene where they meet up at a bar.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you're like, what the hell am I watching?
Right.
Like, where?
Yeah, when did this turn to this?
Where did that come from?
Did I sit on the remote by accident? Am I on a new channel?
Yeah, it's very weird, and I feel like kind of insulting, really. And not just that one scene, but just kind of like several things generally in the movie are like odd.
If there was, and I don't know if there is or there isn't, actually. This is how little I know about these characters. But Honey O'Donoghue, the female private eye, if she's based on a book or a story, some existing pages, this just feels like a bad adaptation of a fun story.
Right.
It just never really comes across. But yeah, there are times, we got to go anyway, but there are a couple other times where I'm like, what? What are you doing this for? Why is this really working this way?
There's several parts where we are, looking at Honey O'Donoghue's sexuality completely in general.
Yeah.
Where ultimately you're like, I mean, why was I doing that?
Right.
And then there's similarly, there's a whole bunch of Chris Evans having sex like all the time.
Yeah.
Where really you're like, why was I doing that?
Yeah,
I mean, apart from just, it's like some kind of weird, here's a funny thing, and I'll throw that in, and you're like...
he's either at the pulpit or he's in bed, and if I need to see him in either, you're wasting my time. I get it.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Is very strange, that part. But it's one of those that is maybe worse because... it just makes you feel like it should have been better.
It should have been better.
It should have been something different. And, maybe the thing that was keeping the Coen brothers, together was being together. Like they don't have that. It's just the one person from like the last movie we were talking about where he just can do whatever he wants, because even when the two of you can do whatever you want, well, it's still the two of you.
Right.
I mean, you still, still have to work it out somehow. I don't know, but just a week of stuff not working. And see, I didn't mention the other movie, so
that was
we're not
smart.
gonna do it.
Honey Don't's better than One Battle After Another for sure.
Oh yeah.
Even though I only rated it a little push better, but man, they just feel different.
Yeah. It's like watchable.
It is watchable.
I wouldn't say, like don't go watch it.
I wouldn't say stop this podcast and go check it out.
If you're on the plane and that's one of the things,
fire it up.
You got to waste some time. It's good, but it is it just doesn't get to average.
Yeah.
All right. So that's enough babbling from us. We'll see you next week. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, and please subscribe, share, like us on iTunes or wherever you're listening to this or watching it. Thanks.
Bye.